Chair, members, my name is Oscar Omoke, the Chief Officer in charge of Water and Sanitation, Nairobi County Government.
Through the Chair, my name is Job Maura, Head of Press, Governor's Office.
Good morning, Chair and honorable member. Ms. Paulo Mondi, Director in charge of Finance, Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Johnston Mikwa, Financial Accountant at Nairobi City Water and Sewerage.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Kenneth Moya, Management and Accountant, Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company.
Thank you, Chairman. I think that's it from our side.
Thank you very much. So, honorable members, we will proceed to item number 3 on your agenda, which is administration of oath of witness and tabling of document. But honorable members, in our pre-meeting, there was a matter that arose, which I wanted to also start with the clerk of the committee to give us feedback.
Chair, as the committee has discussed in the pre-meeting, the office of the clerk received some documents from the management of Nairobi Water Company. Documents were not signed and not owned by anyone. Chair, the same documents have been submitted also today in the morning, which are before you in the files. And our concern is there's no ownership. Second issue we have is the letter from the committee was to the governor, and our expectation was document to be owned by the county through the office of the governor, which we don't have. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. The auditor, you also received these responses. What is your comment? Did you receive signed documents?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, Chair, we received the supporting. We received the documents with a forwarding letter that was received on 19th of June 2025. The document was signed by the engineer, by Managing Director, Engineer Nation Muguna, Nairobi City, with the letterhead of Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company Limited. Thank you, Chair.
So maybe I can hear from members on the way forward, because the documents that the clerk says he has and which are in your files do not have the owner. They are not signed. So I don't know how the auditor was given a forwarding letter and the clerk was not given a forwarding letter. I don't know what happened.
Chair, with your permission, can I advise that because you will be seeking clarification from the county government, you put the governor under oath first before that discussion begins, so that whatever responses are coming from him are responses that this committee can take seriously. So, because you will have to put to him the question as to how we have ended up with documents from the county that are not signed by the county executive.
Usually item 3 on the agenda is in 2 parts: the administration of oath of witness and tabling of documents. But since the documents have an issue, I will only allow the governor to take the oath without tabling the documents, because in the process of us finding out the documents are not rightly before us, then he cannot table them. So yes, we can allow the governor to take the oath for the purpose of responses on that matter. So I think the clerk, you can guide.
I, Sakaja Arthur Johnson, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Very well. So, any other comments? Eddie?
Chair, I was. Oh, you want to go first?
Yes, please.
I'm a vice chair. I can let her go first.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and Governor, with your team. When we went through these documents on your financial statements, we could not get where the deposits of customer deposits are. And
just Senator Mudama, hold on to that.
Yeah.
We are still talking about documents because you cannot talk about customer deposits, which is contained in the documents that we are discussing. So let's first of all deal with that. Senator Eddie.
Chair, perhaps I wanted to establish on the letter that was communicated to the governor by the clerk. And that's why you still be trying to consult with the clerk. Whether the governor read that letter, because I believe in that letter there was proper communication with regards to the document that was supposed to be brought here, but most importantly, even with the timeline that they were supposed to be here. Ordinarily, because I've been in this committee since I got into this Senate, all the communications that we do indicate that the documents must be provided to this committee at least 7 days before our meeting with our clients. And there's a reason to that, because then the clerk and our team, our secretary, can be able to actually go and marry the responses with the audited queries. Because, Chair, if you saw the audit queries here, the supporting documents seems to have been missing the auditors, the one that auditors read there. That's why you've got 20 audit queries and only 2 partially addressed. So if the attitude from the county is that they did not submit the documents at the audit time within the time required, and then in our responding to our committee, the documents are also brought to us this morning, that is very tasteless from the county. So I just want to know, was there an indication of when the documents are supposed to arrive to us? And is there an explanation why they did not arrive on time and they were not signed by the executive, which is the governor in this case?
Chair, can I go next? Can I go next?
Yeah, proceed.
Thank you. I know the governor was a member of this house, so he knows the procedure, the procedures, and the process of how documentation should be done. And he is the one who is taking the responsibility for the entire county. All these senators seated here live in this city county. And so we look upon you as the governor of this city to make our lives comfortable as you serve the rest of us. I'm wondering how he could come to a committee meeting with the documentation that he has not owned. How? He knows the procedures. Governor, you know the procedure. You know you are supposed to own the documents. Because whether the companies, whether it is you who bears the responsibility, how could you just come before this committee with the documents that you have not owned?
I think because we seem to be repeating ourselves, let me just give the governor to respond to this issue.
Chair, thank you. Chair, I received a letter from the Senate on the 10th of June, and I responded on the 16th of June with the supporting documents, and I can give you the letter.
Yeah, you can table the letter.
Written to the clerk. The reference is made to your letter, Senate DGSC CPI CSF, dated 9th June, on the above subject matter. Attached herewith, please find our responses and supporting documentation to the specific issues raised in the reports of the Auditor General for financial year 2023-2024. Yours truly, Sakaja Arthur Johnson, Governor.
Okay. You can, clerk, you can give me a copy.
And I've asked for the received copy to be shared.
Chair, as you read that one, we are also wondering as a committee, how come the documents are not signed by anyone?
So there are two letters here, honorable members. There was a letter where the governor was seeking postponement of the meeting, which was written on 11th June 2025. The governor was traveling out of the country to France and London, so he requested that this meeting be rescheduled to another date. So the letter is signed by the governor himself. Then on 16th, there was a letter to the clerk of the Senate making reference to our earlier letter on the 9th of June 2025 and attaching the responses and supporting documents to the issues that were raised in the financial year 2023-2024. So the letters are here. So maybe the clerk.
Point of order.
I have not finished. I have not finished. Let me ask the clerk to tell us, then you can raise issues. So the clerk, maybe you need to tell us more because you are representing the main clerk in this committee about these letters. Then you can take it from there.
Chair, any letter received by the office of the clerk trickles down to us, it is marked to us. Unless there's a miscommunication somewhere, we always receive letters. That's something we can quickly confirm.
You just confirm whether the letter was received.
Just
Chair,
confirm.
Just for purposes of illustration.
Yes.
Because I have my own problems with the governor and responding to correspondence. If you look at this letter, it is coming from my office, it is dated, and you will see a stamp here, received by the governor's office. That is the only evidence you can table to indicate that you brought a letter somewhere. So you just need to look on the face of that letter. Is there a receipt by the Senate? That's all. Because you can write a letter and keep it in your office. It happens. On the face of the letter, Chair, does it say received by the Senate?
Okay, let me allow the clerk to confirm with the clerk's office. Then he comes back to us on the same.
But that's what I'm saying, Chair. The evidence you table, like this letter, I don't know if everybody can see this letter.
Yes, we can see.
This letter is on my letterhead, and it has a stamp for the governor's office with a date when it was received. The letter you have, you can just display it for us like this. If there is no stamp, Governor, you get a letter that has a receipt. That puts the matter to rest.
Chair, and just to further that very quickly. You remember I asked you whether the letter that we sent to the governor had details that I was talking about. That letter is here. Sent to the governor's office. This is the governor's stamp. Received by the county government of Nairobi. The same thing that Sifuna is talking about. So if we were to say that did we communicate to the governor, we have got evidence that the letter was received. So is that when how did the governor communicate the letter to the clerk without having a receipt on it?
I'll get a receipted copy. Chair, I've issued you a letter from my file. The issue of receipt was not contentious, so I'm not presenting it as evidence that I wrote. I didn't think there was a contention. But I responded on the 16th of June, Chair. So, I mean, we can look for the copy that has a stamp. There's no problem.
Yeah,
I don't see the issue there. And Chair, there was no reason As to why, remember this meeting was postponed a couple of times. The response is already a long time ago. In fact, the last postponement was by yourselves, you know. So we had been ready. I don't see why there's contention about.
Governor, there is contention because documents have to be owned.
Yeah, I've signed it.
Just a minute. You know, you prepared to come for this meeting. You should have brought the letter knowing that these issues arise. We have had this discussion with you before in the Transport Committee. There was even a big fight about emails. Whether you say you have sent emails from there, but we have not received. You remember that conversation?
So we'll get the copy.
So these issues arise. But the point we are making is this. In the absence of that ownership, you see there is a document here. It is not on any institution's letterhead. It just starts by saying Nairobi City Water and Sewerage responses to the Senate Investment Committee, Public Investments Committee. This letter has no, these are now the responses. It is not signed anywhere, it is not on letterhead. So in the absence of that covering letter, then really these responses do not belong to anyone. That is a major issue.
The letter written to the Senate, you know you don't sign every page. The letter written to the Senate has this as the attachment.
That's what I'm saying.
And we have no reason not to respond on those issues.
So you just need to show us the receipted copy and then we close the matter.
Honorable members, I'm just waiting for communication from the clerk on the stamped letter. If the stamped letter comes, then members will decide on the way forward. But as it is now, the documents in the files prepared by Nairobi City Water, they are not signed anywhere. They're just plain document. If you are given this file, you may not know what it is, who the owner of these documents are.
Chair.
So that would be a serious problem.
Chair, maybe just one moment. The clerk, unless I had my own things, the clerk has indicated that the document before us arrived this morning. Did I hear that? Yes. Am I the only one who heard that? If the documents arrived this morning and the letter arrived on the date that is being talked about, what are we talking about? Are you saying that, Governor, when you sent the letter, you sent it before these documents on the day that they came? So then these documents, how did they arrive to us this morning? Why are we playing a cat and mouse game with the Senate here? Yeah?
Chair.
You can't say that the forwarding letter of document that you sent, the forwarding letter came earlier, and then the documents came this morning. I mean, and that's why there is the issue of timeline.
Honorable members, I want us to be very clear. The clerk indicated that the document they received today, but the same document were received earlier. Can you clarify that position? Because there are two receipts that have come, one today and another one earlier. The one that came today came via email, according to the clerk.
Chair said we have received the documents within timeline, although those documents were not signed and owned. And I further said the documents that were received today are also not owned. That's what I meant.
Chair. So, Chair, the first documents were not owned. Today's documents are also not owned. So what are we doing?
Chair, let me hear from
Chair, Chair, we are arguing about the same thing. I think what we need to do between the Senate, the clerk of the Senate and the county government, let's wait for whichever letter comes first that will show there was a receipt, and then from there we make a decision. Otherwise, Chair, we are just talking around.
Yeah, that's why I say if we get a letter, honorable members, if we get a letter that is stamped received from the clerk's office, then we will know that the documents were actually sent in time on that date when the documents was received. But without that letter, it becomes a bit difficult. I understand the situation, honorable members. So the clerk, if that letter is not there, let us know. If the letter is there, please bring it. Stamped letter. So that if the letter is stamped, we will proceed, honorable members.
The documents for today.
But Chair, this is my own personal advice to this committee, that whenever there is conflict between an entity and your own staff as to what the true status is, always believe your staff. Yeah. We have gone through this in other committees as well. In the Committee of Transport, we have had this problem with this same entity. that they claim they have sent documents on time and they have no physical. Because if you came, if you wanted to show this, to demonstrate this, it's very easy, and the county attorney is there. The county attorney knows that if you have a receipt, it is for you to produce a receipt. It can't be for the clerk to look for the receipt. Because the question has been posed to you. But anyway, Chair, I don't know what you want to guide as you wait.
Chair, there is no guiding in this.
No, as we wait for the confirmation, maybe we could process a few other issues that I had requested the committee to allow me to raise as AOB, because it revolves around the same issues of correspondence.
Chair, may you look at the synchrony between the letter that the clerk received, right? Or rather, the alleged letter that the clerk received vis-a-vis the letter that the auditor received. Can we get harmony between those two?
Senator,
can we just ask the auditor if they are dated the same day?
The letter that the auditor received is from Nairobi Water. Is from Nairobi Water. Is not from the governor. Because us, we wrote a letter to the governor. So the governor was responding to us. But the responses were, I believe they were done by Nairobi Water. So Nairobi Water wrote to the auditor with an attached letter. That is the letter they have.
On different
the
dates.
same letter.
Huh? On different dates.
What dates are indicated there, auditor?
Chair, the letter received from Nairobi City County is dated on the 17th of June 2025, signed by the managing director and also copied to the clerk of the County Assembly of Nairobi.
17th June. And from the governor it was 20? What time? 26th of June.
16th.
16th. Senator Amida?
No, I just wanted to say that when a governor being the CEO of the county under Article 179, I think you should have just made sure that all these documentations, and if I had Yusuf right, was that he said such copies also sent on soft copies. And the soft copies also could suffice.
Chair.
Yes, Governor.
The document that I sent with the responses was received by the Senate on the 20th of June, 2025. I have the stamped copy that is being printed. It is stamped received at the Senate.
So you can table it.
Chair, I've asked a very substantive
This
question.
is a scan. When we do that, we scan.
Chair, I've asked a substantive question. If the letter to the auditor went on the 17th, how is it possible that the letter to us came on the 16th?
Because I'm the one who wrote to the Senate.
Was it an anticipation? Yeah, I have the letter.
Chair, the question
Very
was
serious.
whether the letter was owned, whether it came on time. Your clerk has told you it came on time, and I have the evidence that it was received by yourselves. I think we are splitting hairs for nothing. Let's go to the substance, Chair, respectfully.
Yeah.
And I have it here, received by the Senate.
Yeah, let me have a look at that letter.
Yeah, I'm getting it printed.
So meanwhile, as we are waiting for the letter from the clerk and this other letter tabled by the governor, Senator Sifuna, what is the issue?
Yeah, Chair, there are a few issues that I had hoped that we would have a conversation with the governor, and it is revolving around water issues in Nairobi. Governor, in all honesty, I also have a problem with the office in terms of how they treat correspondence. Your office never responds to correspondence. And this is not just from me. I have letters here from members of the County Assembly addressed to your various departments, and the complaint is the same throughout the leadership of Nairobi, that your office does not respond to correspondence. The first one letter, the Chair, I had a meeting with a section of those leaders that I've spoken about, and I had written to you on the 27th of May 2025. This letter was received in the office on the 28th of May 2025. I have a copy here with me, Chair, and it was regarding water connections in Ruai Ward. And there has been no response, Governor. I had occasion to run into Engineer Muguna at the airport a few weeks back, and I asked him the same question, but there has been no response. So it becomes very difficult for us as representatives of the people to give feedback to the people when we can't ourselves be given that information. So perhaps we could start there, Chair. If the Governor is in a position to answer this today, because this is the only place we can now have this conversation, it is possible. You can say maybe you will need time to answer, but maybe that's because the water company is there. The residents of Ruai are concerned about delayed household water connections, and the information we got was that the major pipeline project by Athi Water Works and Nairobi Water was largely complete. There are over 22,000 households that have paid 5,000 shillings each for connections, and yet those connections have not been had. Is it possible for us as the people of Nairobi to get a response today on that particular issue? Secondly, Honorable Chair, there's a meeting that I held with residents associations from Roysambu constituency. Specific issues were raised to do with the construction of a sewerage system, specifically in Roysambu ward. And the complaint there, Honorable Governor, was that the residents of Nyati Drive in that particular ward were omitted from the construction of the sewerage that was going on. And perhaps you can also, if it is possible today, Governor, give a response so that the people of Nyati Drive know the current situation. Thirdly, Honorable Chair, there was a request from the Honorable Sospita Mumbi, who's the MCA for Roysambu, for construction of a borehole at GSU Primary School and Secondary School in Roysambu Ward. There's a letter to you, Honorable Governor, to your Chief Officer for Water, and it is received on the 21st of February 2024, which is more than a year ago. There has been no response, Governor, to the Honorable MCA on that particular request, just to say yes or no, so that he doesn't waste time running around offices. And lastly, Honorable Chair, this is a letter from the Marurui Residents Alliance, and they were raising questions of the sewerage coverage within Marurui as well. Honorable Governor, I'm sure you are familiar with this matter, that has left many high-rise buildings unconnected to the main sewerage line. So perhaps, Governor, if you can identify any of those issues that we can get responses today as we wait for the committee to get its act together, then maybe you can indicate. But if you do not have, I would appreciate if there were formal responses coming from your county government whenever leaders raise this question, so that we don't have to waste too much time on it. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Senator Sifuna, you know that matter can be raised under agenda AOB. So on the basis that it's a very important issue and you had asked the committee to bring up that matter, I think we handle it as AOB. So I'll bring the AOB first before we go to agenda number 4. So, Governor, you can respond to your senator on the issues that he has raised.
Chair, the more detailed ones, they can get a response a bit later. But what I know, for instance, in Ruai, parts of Ruai would are now connected. We've had a challenge. That's the biggest ward in this county. It's possibly an 8th, In Kasarani constituency, right now for the water, we have reached Kangundo Road to Ruai Market. And then there's a pipe from Jiru Railway Station that goes towards to cover the Infinity area that is already ongoing. And there are many others, because that goes hand in hand with the Utawala. Yeah, the Utawala area. It's a similar part. And there are many other laterals that we're doing around that area. So I will ask the MD to maybe just give not now, but to prepare. Yeah, because Kasarani has two sides. There's the Kamuru side, Ruai, Mwiki, and this other side of Santon. Currently for Siwa, at Kasarani police station, yeah, we're developing, there's a diversion that is now connecting to the trunk Siwa along Mwiki Kangundo Road. That one is something that is also ongoing. I think it's a great opportunity to give a larger update of all the improvements that have been going on in the last year, and I will be able to share that with you, Senator. Including, I think, what would form part of today's discussion on the what we call reshrilling, of the piping in the CBD. Because a lot of the reason you have that non-revenue water is because of the old pipes that have leakage and connected to the old fire system in the city. And as soon as that is done, now we'll reduce the non-revenue water by 2,000 cubic meters per hour. Yeah, that is what is currently ongoing. So there's Santon, there's Clay City, there's Kariobangi North at National Concrete, that is also ongoing. The side of Kawangware 46, all the way coming into Chalby Drive. Chai, you also know that we're doing 54 kilometers of trunk Siwa, 1.8 by 2.4 meters, that goes hand in hand with the river program. South Sea is a place that has had similar challenges. What we have there is something called condominium sewers. Those condominium sewers are sewers that are not on a wayleaf, that are in people's property, just like Isili, because of the planning. But now we've been able to get a major pipeline from the northern bypass coming into Akiba, connecting to Ole Shapara, down until Kongoni Primary School. Then at Kongoni Primary School, where we have the Kenya Power substation, it connects to the larger trunk Siwa. And then now we're doing further laterals along the Ngong River line. So, I mean, Chair, I can give a lot of that. As for the MCA who wants a borehole, we do a lot of induction, and we tell them how to get a project. Projects are not received by a letter. They are budgeted for, they are appropriated by the MCAs themselves. In fact, they even indicate that this financial year we're going to do boreholes in this place, or we're going to do a road in this place. And so it's part of that process. I think maybe the issue is him being told or responded to. But that is really the process. We don't give projects based on request by letter, but based on a medium-term framework, an appropriation bill, and it's a process you all know because you're legislators and you're also going through the same. Chair, on water, I think it will be of benefit for this committee and for Nairobians to know we've made huge improvements, increasing 160 million liters a day, courtesy of NCT1 and Karimenu. And many of you might attest to increased water. So if you need me to go through
Chair,
that,
Governor, just to be specific to the areas that we've raised,
yes.
What would you say, like, of the 22,000 households that had already paid for connection in Rwai?
That's what I've told you is ongoing.
Just give us a status and maybe the reasons for the delay. There are also allegations that some people had paid and they're being asked to pay again. This 5,000 shillings, is it receipted?
Of course.
They are receipted.
It is paid. I'll ask the MD to give you details of that, and maybe also he can talk about Nyati Drive.
Yes, please. And, those specific areas.
And Resambo. But for a more comprehensive response, because I'm sure he's also heard it now, we can write back. MD, thank you so much. Maybe respond to the issue of the Ruai.
Utawara area, where, just like the governor has said, actually Ruai, you put Miango, Utawara, they take around that 8% of the surface area of the city. And those areas have not been having any of our infrastructure. It's now they are being done by Adi Waterworks and Development Agency. Now, like the work you're asking, Bwana Senator, Adi is responsible for development of the infrastructures there through Credit K 1135 funded by AFD. Now that credit, the work entails doing the main lines, lateral lines, plus the connections. Now, that work is not yet complete, Senator. There are customers whose work is complete. We are giving them the meters. But the responsibility of laying the pipes up to the customer premises is being done by other water works and development agencies, known as Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company, and the credit I've spoken about. A comprehensive report actually can be handed over to you through the governor's office. Immediately we leave here, because we have also been following up those matters on the ground. The customers are ours, they are not others. Customers. So we have been following up what they are doing, and we have a comprehensive report which we can hand over to you immediately we leave here. On Nyati court of Roysambo area. Roysambo also sometimes back under the NDB funding, the same other waterworks development agencies did a lot of projects in those areas. Also those areas, I'm sure you are aware, there are no CWAs, Dome, Maroroi, Ruai, Simaman, they were being developed last year, and still the contract is on the ground. So they will be incorporated if they were in the original designs, the original plan. So I can also counter-check with other waterworks and development agency whether this particular court is supposed to be seaward under this program. On just what the governor has spoken about the bow, GSU Primary School, for heaven's sake, sits just next to the main line along Outer Ring Road. So it shouldn't be having any problem of water at all. That's next to Gumba Estate, which is used by the GSU personnel. Then there is the Ruaraka Primary School, Secondary School. Then there's the GSU Primary School there.
MD, are you confirming that that school is properly served with water? If you can be next to a pipeline and dying of thirst.
Senator, what I'm implying, if it has any water problem, it's only that we are not aware. That's a simple problem which can be solved by Monday.
Yeah, so you see the problem, Chair, is this. The MD will tell us that the problem can be solved by Monday.
If they have a problem.
Just a minute, because you have appeared before us. The broader conversation we are having is, can you please respond to correspondence from the leaders on the ground? This is a letter that was written in 2024. It has not been responded to up to date. That's the problem we have with the county government. So you are saying this because we are here. When we leave here, we will not get any correspondence or assurances that you're giving, that nothing will happen. That is a broader problem. If indeed this was a problem that could have been resolved in 2024 February, would we be here, Governor? Surely.
Now to Your Excellency and the Senator, for sure, if the MCA knew about this problem, we meet the MCAs almost every month, and every day if they want, our telephones are open. Could have resolved this problem directly. They shouldn't have come to the Senate all the way here. It's a problem which can be addressed. That's why I'm saying.
So the request I will make through the chair is that I want to see the correspondence from his office in 2024 and how they have addressed this problem. Because the leader on the ground has taken a step to write to you. You are responding here today. So please show us correspondence from 24 on how you dealt with this issue.
We can provide.
Chair, just a clarification from the water, is it director or? Yeah. Now, here is Senator asking a question, and you are referring the Senator to the MCA. Does it mean that the Senator has no right to represent the people in Nairobi?
Yeah, that is completely out of context.
Yeah.
The Senator himself was referring to the MCA, Senator Mudama. And the MD is just explaining that there are many forums that, and possibly even a response. So you can get the letter. The Senator has all the rights to, in fact,
honorable members.
The Senator has a lot of rights. I was a Senator for Nairobi also. And I used to do the same. Chair, I have the letter which was received by the Senate on the 20th of June that has created a lot of, discussion. That is to the clerk, meeting with CPISF committee. I received a letter dated 9th June. Attached is our responses and supporting documentation. Your own clerk confirmed that all documentation was received. The letter is stamped. Chair, before I started to give my responses, we're already being greatly accused. Yet this evidence is there. Can that be withdrawn?
Okay.
Yes.
Let me first of all.
And also, please, Chair, if you could return my copy, that one I came with. This is the one to table, the one which has your stamp.
Let me first of all direct on the matter of Senator Sifuna. I think Senator Sifuna has come up with those issues because his letter was not responded to. And that's why he used this opportunity to try and get responses. So let me direct that the letter that he has tabled here be responded to and copied to us. The responses copied to us. Because I'm seeing that we are likely to spend more time responding to that in this meeting. So you respond, I think, within 7 days to Senator and possibly copy to us to confirm that the responses have been sent. Otherwise, the clerk has retrieved the signed letter, the stamped letter from the main clerk. So, honorable members, that means that the documents were actually forwarded by the governor. But the only mistake, Governor, which we must point out, is that when your people are preparing the responses, it is a standard that the letter, your letter, be attached on the responses. Even if they are sent on email, they should scan the email and send together with the rest of the document. That is the only thing that was not done.
Chair, the responses were attached to my letter.
But it's not
you
there.
saying how you're saying we stick it physically or like it was attached? What you received today's documentation is just the same responses were given on time, Chair. And the clerk himself has confirmed that, Chair. But before that, Chair, you had all manner of accusations, including people saying, lecturing me that I've been a senator, I should know these things. Senator Siengo. Honestly, I've responded and it was not on time.
Governor, I think it is very unfair to come after the members of the committee.
But it's fair for them to come after me.
Just a minute. At the time when those accusations were being made, that document was not before us. It was incumbent upon you.
No, but at that point I was not given the right.
The piece of paper.
The accusations were made before I was even given the chance to respond, Chair. And I just had quietly listening.
You know,
so will those be withdrawn or do they remain unanswered?
That's why I said, you know, when the documents are not in the file, members may not know. So they are just.
You can give your witness a chance to respond before unwarranted attacks, where the mistake is from your side. I think that is in good order, Chair.
Anyway, let's just agree that the letter is there. Let's proceed with the substance of our meeting today, which is to look at the audit query.
Yeah,
you are so ready.
Chair, that's the reason why I said if those all soft copies were received, there would have been no hassle.
This was hard copy, physical.
Okay, we will proceed, honorable members. But I will allow the governor to officially table the documents that are before us, and then we proceed.
Chair, I want to put it clear that it was not personal. When the governor refers to Senator Siengo, I was doing my work as per this committee and as the records within the committee.
We have passed that stage.
We had not.
Senator.
We had not received that letter.
We have agreed. We are proceeding.
And it is not my work to find out where the documents are.
We are proceeding with the substance of the matter. So, Governor, you can proceed and table the documents.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I hereby table the management responses and accompanying annexures of the Nairobi City County Water and Sewerage Company for the financial year 2023-2024. It's tabled.
Okay. So, honorable members, can see we are doing very badly on time. It is 20 minutes past noon. You have 20 audit queries to process. So I'm just thinking that this meeting will proceed past lunchtime. So we'll proceed past lunchtime with the meeting. So Auditor, I would like you to proceed from the first query. You give a summary of the report, and then you proceed from query number 1 as included in the audit report.
Give a suggestion because of time.
Yes.
If you look at query number 1, query number 2, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and query number 4. I don't know if you've gone through them. They're actually very similar. If you can check and the auditor can confirm, I believe those are queries that can be handled together because they are
query number
1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and then query number 4. Number 4 itself, the trade and other receivables. If you look at those queries, they revolve around customers. This is basically on operating revenue, estimated accounts, billed and not paid for, active accounts, not billed. So if you look at them, you know it is revolving around the same issues.
They may not be exactly the same because a query on long outstanding trade and other receivables, those are customers who owe money to the company and they have not paid for long. But if you look at 1.1, it is about accounts which are billed and are not paying. And in other cases, there are accounts which are active but are not being billed. So those are two different issues. I suggest let's just handle them separately. So Auditor, proceed, give us a summary, and then you proceed to query number 1.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. A report of the Auditor General on Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company Limited for the year ended 30 June 2024. The financial statements received qualified opinion. First paragraph is on inconsistencies in operating revenue. 1.1, estimated accounts for more than 6 months. The statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, and as disclosed in Note 6 to the financial statements, reflects an amount of Kenya shillings 10,949,295,622 in respect to operating revenue. An analysis of the billing estimates data indicates that 112,612.20 accounts had their bills with an estimated amount of Kenya shillings 524,984,600. Further, the analysis revealed that 15,320 accounts had been estimated consecutively for more than 6 months for the period between 1st July 2023 to that of June 2024. The estimated bills for more than 6 months amounted to Kenya shillings 194,354,986. 1.2, accounts billed and not paid for throughout the year. The statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, and as disclosed in Note 6 to the financial statements, reflects an amount of Kenya shillings 10,949,295,622 in respect to operating revenue. A comparative analysis of water meters billing and payments reports revealed that as at 30 June 2024, a total of 23,384 accounts were billed a total of Kenya shillings 344,484,421 during the review period. However, the accounts did not have a corresponding payment. It was not clear how the accounts were billed for the whole year, and yet they did not have corresponding payment. Further, there was no evidence provided to show the accounts were disconnected for non-payment of the bills.
Chair, point of order.
Yes.
Chair, in our preliminary meeting, ordinarily we would go through query to query and then establish which ones have got the weight. Of course, some of us who had read the document not knowing there was going to be a contentious issue of forwarding had actually scanned through the query, and all these queries, I've seen them, they are very weighty. But during our preliminary meeting, we didn't have the chance to actually go through the queries. So, because we had assumed that based on the fact that they were not forwarded, therefore there was nobody who was owning them. So perhaps I wanted to ask, before we go to that query number 1 that is finishing to read, how many queries were they and how many were addressed substantially to the auditor?
Auditor, I think auditor had given that information. He said there were 20 paragraphs, 20 queries, and only 2 were partially addressed. The remaining 18 were not addressed.
Does that concern you as a chair?
And only 2 partially addressed.
2 are partially addressed. That's why, honorable members, in the pre-meeting, I said that these queries are all very important. And we may not really demarcate and say these ones are more important than the others. The best scenario would be we go through all the queries as they are. That is why we set entire Monday for Nairobi County, because we don't have a session. We were ready to process all the queries as they are, because they are very, very important. For example, the first query, we are talking about 184 million, where the customers, they have not, their accounts have been estimated, because their meter cannot be read. That is a very serious matter that we need addressed. So each and every query, it is weighty. So we cannot say we are only going to address 5 queries and the others will leave. We have to look at all of them. And we have the time. That's why today is a Monday, to spend our time on them and discuss them. For example, the query on long outstanding trade and other payable. We are talking about 4 billion shillings worth of bills which have not been paid. That's a serious matter. So, honorable member, I'm unable to decide which one is weighty and which one is not weighty.
Chair,
I think all of them are.
Chair, I think the question that Eddie is raising is very important. 2, I think now if they've only addressed partially 2 of the queries, then why can't you, Chair, ask the governor to tell us why the rest have not been addressed, and then we'll give direction from there.
Senator Sifuna.
Yeah, Chairman, I can appreciate the anxiety of the committee because we have spent some good amount of time arguing about ownership of the responses. But if the responses don't respond to the queries, then the question arises what we are doing here. My own advice from our own engagement at the Public Accounts Committee, we usually give the entity opportunity to answer maybe 3 or 4. And if you feel that we are not heading anywhere and the responses are being given unsatisfactorily, then there is really no point to go away. Because Auditor General, this process is not supposed to be happening before the Senate. The audit is supposed to be completed with the Auditor General. So if they are given opportunity to respond to queries, and the auditor is telling the committee that even after the responses have been received, only 2 of the 20 issues have been addressed, then you must test you must test the responses by the governor on a few issues, and if you feel that there is no movement in terms of the quality of the responses, then you make a decision. Because it will be very unfair for us to just sit here and be told stories that don't respond to the queries that have been raised by the Auditor General.
Chair, as the governor responds, I know the customer's deposit was not one of the questions, but I would want to know how safe is the customer's deposits and in which accounts they are in.
Senator Mudama, I directed on that. I know your passion.
Chair,
Yes.
here you can answer that.
Yeah, it will come.
Here you can answer that.
It
Chair.
will come. I want us to be systematic. We have just started the first one. As Senator Spooner says, let's proceed. Yeah. If along the way we notice that we are not making progress, then we can decide what to do. But you know, we cannot say we are starting, then we say customer deposit to come. I said customer deposit is an issue. It's not in the audit query. But it is an issue that we have picked. We will raise it at some point, and you'll be given that opportunity to raise it.
Chair, Chair, to make progress, let's test what Senator Spooner said, so that at least we make progress. You know, we have argued, we've been here for the last almost 3 hours. Yeah, let us proceed the first 2 or 3 questions. If we are not satisfied, then we tell them to go. Yeah, we make a decision.
Chair,
Otherwise, we will just argue.
You know the issue, the first query has 3 parts. The first query is inconsistency in operating. It has three parts.
Yeah.
So what the auditor was doing was reading the 3 parts, and then the governor will make a response.
Yes.
To the 3 parts.
Let's keep
on the matter operating levy. And then after that, we will go to the issue of debts, which are about 4 billion shillings. And then from there, the issue of land ownership, which is a substantial issue. Those 3 issues are sufficient to give us direction, a sense of what is happening there.
So, indulgence. I'm here to respond to audit queries, all of them. If you can allow us to give our responses, because it's a constitutional process, and that's why I'm here, no matter how long it takes. And all questions were responded to. The issue of 2 is to their satisfaction, but responded to the best of our ability, and that's why I took an oath. So can you allow me to respond?
Yeah, I will allow you to respond. So we will allow the auditor to finish the 1.3, reading out, and then the governor will respond to the entire issue number 1, which has 3 parts.
Chair, I would respect that because, and as I said, this is the committee to make a decision. But this is a committee that looks at audited queries. That means that the written responses is what strictly guides my thinking and my thought. You know, I'm saying this actually in favor of Nairobi County and the Nairobi government, because this is the written responses that the governor sent. And when you look at those written responses, Chair, with what the auditor is raising as not addressed, they are similar. So it will be an exercise in futility. Because even if the governor tells us a lot of stories, at the end of the day when we retire, it is the written response that we will focus. And this written response, Chair, 2 things are emanating. They are first, not adequately looking at what the auditor is talking about. They are also not responding to some of these questions that are very substantive. So it's either we choose to spend time going through them, as you have said. I don't have a problem with 1 or 2, 3 of them, but I'm just saving you the face that from what I've read in this, because some of us take the time to read them, okay? From what I've read in this, Chair, is not adequate, and you're going to meet the same. So,
can I make a request just on behalf of the people of Nairobi? I think it is important for these conversations to be had. And Governor, I think you are slightly misguided on an issue, that the audit does not happen in the Senate. It is not us you need to convince. It is the Auditor General who you need to convince. As you would look around this table, many of us are not professionals even in accounting. We are, you know my profession, I'm a lawyer. these officers are here to guide us. They are the ones you need to persuade or convince that an issue has been sufficiently addressed. I am also audited, as you know, as SG of ODM. The responses we give are to the satisfaction of the auditor, not anybody else. So if the auditor says, Governor, that of all this material that you've presented here, you have only partially responded satisfactorily to 2, it should bother you as the CEO of the county. So my suggestion would be the same. Let us try and test these responses, because some of them, just from a cursory look here, are just ridiculous explanations. And if you insist on proceeding, Governor, let us proceed.
Yeah, that's why we're here, to proceed.
Yeah, honorable members, let's proceed. Let's proceed. So, Auditor, please finalize with the 1.3.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Paragraph 1.3, active accounts not billed, the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, and as disclosed in Note 6, the financial statements reflects an amount of Kenya shillings 10,949,295,622 in respect to operating revenue for the year ended 30 June 2024. Comparative analysis of water meters and billings revealed that as of 30 June 2024, a total of 10,192 active accounts did not receive any billing during the review period. It was not clear how the active accounts were not billed for the whole year and yet were still active. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of operating revenue of Kenya shillings 10,949,295,622 could not be confirmed. Thank you.
Okay, Governor, your responses.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, on the first question, and thank you for the opportunity to respond to that. The issue of estimated accounts for more than 6 months is due to inability to access meters. I'll allow the MD to give you more details of what we're doing, because the areas where just accessibility, the gates are closed,
Maybe before you allow the MD, just read the responses verbatim, as it is.
To address this, the company is sensitizing the customers on self-meter reading through SMS reminders and relocation of meters outside the gate for accessibility. I'll ask him to expand on that.
MD.
Thank you so much, Chairman, the Governor, and the members of the committee. It is true,
Engineer Muguna, just put the mic closer to.
It is true, there are meters we have estimated over a period of time. And most of the accounts we estimate, the accounts which we cannot be able to assess because maybe the gates are locked, the owners are not in the house. And what we are doing on such accounts, we have upgraded our billing system so that we can be able to be sending SMS reminders to our customers whom we are estimating their accounts. Once we estimate 3 times, we send you, or rather if we are unable to read for 3 months, we send you an alert telling you we are unable to access your account. The other thing is, if you become notorious, we actually write to you and tell you the meter must be moved from inside your compound to outside your compound, or where we can be able to access it easily. And that's what we are doing with the many customers in this category. Thank you.
Honorable members, let me start with Senator Sifun.
Yeah, so Chair, just let's try that response, Governor. These are 15,320 specific accounts.
Yes.
You are telling us for 6 months, you go and there's no one at this gate. 6 whole months, 6 times, that's half a year, before the Auditor General flags it.
Now, what we are saying is we are aware about this account, and this is
That's
what
not
we
the
are
question.
doing.
For 6 months, Every single time your officers go there, there's no one at home to open the gate. That's what you're telling the Senate.
Yes.
Okay.
The gate is locked and nobody is landed to open the gate.
Let me hear from the auditor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Our expectation would have been if an account is estimated maybe in 1 or 2 months, then there should be some efforts to access the bill. I mean the meter readings, maybe the second or the third month, but not 6 months. 6 months, I think, is too long.
Senator Eddie.
Chair, you'll understand my frustrations, and that's why I was requesting that perhaps this just from the first response, I would have asked the governor to go and respond adequately, because the query is very simple, and I want it to go on record that this is the response that is official. Well, I know they'll be unanswered. The responses that the is it the chief officer?
The MD.
The MD is giving is unanswered, yes, but the written response here is very, very important. Chair, that query has got 2 portions. Okay? There are accounts that were billed and not paid for throughout the year. The governor's response to that entire query is that the accounts are estimated due to inability to access the meters.
No, that's a different question, Senator. I was answering 1.1.
Yeah, we are still on 1.1.
Yeah, that's 1.1.
But you're asking 1.2.
No, wait. It is 1.1, 1.2.
The answer I've given, which you've asked me to read out, is 1.1.
Yes.
So wait for me to answer 1.2.
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
But accounts billed and not paid for is not about access.
I'm coming to that. Just be patient, Governor. Okay? You have got 15,000 accounts that had been estimated consecutively for more than 6 months for the period July 1st, 2023 to June 2024. The estimated bills for those months are given there. The reason why they are related all the way to 1.3 is because this is not a denotation. Denotation basically shows what could have explained 1.1 in terms of accounts that were billed, okay, and what could have showed the accounts, active accounts that were not billed. You get what I mean?
No.
So,
you know, I've given my answer. If you have another different answer, it's a different.
No, it's not about your answer.
Are you asking a further question?
It's about the audit.
Honorable members.
Chair, can I seek a clarification from you?
Honorable members, please. I know you are anxious to ask questions.
Governor.
But let's follow the procedure. First of all, the question, it's the chair to give you a chance to ask a question. You don't just ask here without the approval of the chair. And then number 2, let's be systematic. You know, we are getting mixed up. We are handling 1.1. Let us exhaust the issue of access. Like Honorable Sifuna had asked, surely for 6 months, you can't access the premise to check the meter. I mean, once we have exhausted that, then we will go to the issue number 1.2, which the governor will respond to and will ask questions. Because we are now wasting time by going back and forth on these issues.
So, Chair, my understanding of this query is simple, okay? They are all correlated. There's a correlation here. That's why I wanted to ask that if it's possible, let the governor read all the responses up until 1.3, then you'll see the correlation I'm trying to bring. Because when you look at how number 1 has been answered, it informs number 2, where number 2, the issue of billing, the account accounts billed and not paid have been brought, but the issue of distribution of the modeling is the answer, the response.
They're not connected at all. Number one is accounts where you have not seen the meter.
Yeah, Chair.
Number two, we have billed them, but they have not paid.
We understand that,
things.
Governor. Just maybe on that same question, clarification from the engineer or from the governor. Governor, paint for us a picture of these 15,000 accounts. Where ordinarily are these accounts that you would go for 6 months? Are they secure? Is this State House or is it security installations? Where are these places? Because you cannot tell me, with all the force that we see you, with all the force that we see the county government of Nairobi, even breaking down gates. There was an institution there, what was it called? A mosque or a synagogue, that you were clamping for it with all the might of Nairobi County government. You are telling us there's 15,000 people who you cannot access their meters, and also shed some light on who is supposed to do relocation of meters. Whose job is that to do relocation of meters? Engineer, just tell us where these 15,000 are. Are they security installations? What are they?
So, okay, let me combine the questions. Senator Kisang, Senator
Thank you,
Mbugua, and
Chair.
then the governor will respond to all of
Thank you, Chair.
And,
You remember,
Amida.
Chair, you remember I told you earlier, number 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 4 were very closely related. We would have answered all of them together if you had accepted, but we accept your direction. Number one, Chair, on estimated accounts for more than 6 months. You know, the governor and the CEO has told us they are doing sensitization, but you know, they have not come out clearly to say they are already giving notices. If I cannot open my gate in Karen, there should be something you'll drop under my gate so that in the evening when I come home, I'll have a notice from the county government saying, please allow us, or we give a date so that the meter can be relocated outside the gate. And then secondly, Honorable Speaker, I expected also, the CEO and the governor to tell us, if it is difficult to access, what plans do you have then to install smart meters so that you can disconnect without going there?
Yes, Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Chair. Governor, I know these responses were prepared for you by your staff. It is not possible that for 6 months consecutively, the same number of 15,320 from month 1 to 6, you are not. It was not able to access. Probably it have been. The response would have been more accurate if this number is differing from 1 month to the other. But for it to be consistent, the same number for 6 months, it's not practical, Governor. Your people are misreading you.
Senator Amida.
Yeah, I think Bwana CEO was asked what efforts has he made so far. And Bwana CEO, maybe even for example, even where I live, they always give who is this person who takes care, is it the caretaker or someone, gives notices to residents on when the meters are going to be read. And people, all the gates are opened. What legal and policy measures have you taken so far? Because, it has really taken time. And then how do you implement the fines and the penalties for that? Then how do you schedule the meter? Use inspectors. Because like the Kenya Power, they come once, the next time they disconnect, from even the poles or whatever. So what efforts have you made? It will take about 6 months, seriously. And you've not shown any efforts that you have made.
In fact, this is actually a big improvement, Chair. Chair, 15,000 meters accounts sound so many, but in the wider context, that's 6% of all the accounts in the city, 6%. So let me have the MD answer the specific questions to him. And even, cases even of attacks of this stuff, the areas where they are repulsed, just give them a full context so that they can understand. But within the context of 15,000 out of close to 300,000 accounts that are metered, that are, they're not estimated, Chair.
Thank you so much, through the Chair again. Let me put it this way. We strive as much as possible to ensure we read all the meters in this town. And all these meters, we have referenced them through GIS system so that we can be able to assess them when we need, and we know where every meter is. At times, our staff go to those premises, actually, and dogs are opened to them. And we can provide evidence for that. At times, staff are crowbarred properly. We can provide evidence for all those things. And they become court cases, where our staff want to read the meter, the customers don't want the meter to be read. Or a staff, or whoever is left in the compound is maybe a house helper, and she has instructions. Don't allow anybody to come to this compound. When you try to go in, our staff, those people opens the dog for them to mow them. Please, we have been trying to ensure we read all these meters. Just like the governor has said, we have around 250,000 account meters to read. We move around the whole city every month and we ensure these meters are read. These ones which we are saying, people, they are not being read. The others we have actually moved outside the compound, and we can provide evidence that we have been leaving the messages which Mheshimiwa is talking about. We leave even written documents to the customers. Please open your gates so that we can read the meters. Without doing that, we are going to move the meters. And we have been moving meters. We can provide that evidence of moving meters from customers' premises to the road. But
so as we speak today, engineer, of this 15,000, how many have you moved?
I may not have the figure of it, but we can provide the ones we have.
It's an estimate. You can estimate meters, but you can't estimate numbers here.
The meters, we know them often.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Would you put the movement at 10% so far, what you have done? Because that's the only
that
solution.
number?
Yes.
Of the 15,000?
Yes.
If you don't have the answer, don't answer.
I don't have the actual.
I'm on oath.
Okay.
So you give the,
That's
if you don't
good
know the
guidance.
answer, don't.
Chair, I'd also ask to understand the general geography of this 15,000 meters. What is the spread across the city? Where are these places where people have dogs?
It is citywide.
Citywide?
Yeah, including even a place like Buruburu, the areas where people don't allow you to enter.
But Engineer Muguna, through the governor, have you sought a court warrant to access these premises?
I think it's just it that there are many legal processes, including court cases. I think when with such a response, really what I would suggest, Chair, is let's discuss how you can support us to read all of those meters, because we want all those meters, we want that revenue. But we're explaining the context. So you see, if you answer like that, you may not like, we're giving you the reality on the ground.
Yeah,
that is what actually happens.
Governor, we want to help. I think we are in agreement to want to help. But when you go to the doctor and you tell them you have malaria and it's not malaria, it is something you picked up at summer tides, you know that is a big problem for us. You have to give us the true situation on the ground.
That is a true situation.
The initial answer he gave us here was that they go and find gates locked.
There are gate locks. They are when sometimes if you force the gate to be opened, people open doors, people fight with us.
So how would you like us to help you, Governor? I would be interested to know. Because
we should look at the legislation around how you penalize people who restrict access by public officers to actually bill you, whether it is Kenya Power or Nairobi Water. It should be a huge deterrence. You know, it should be something that is very punitive, and that is the legislation that we can do together with the Senate.
Does that require national legislation? Because it's a matter that is unique for Nairobi.
It requires national legislation. It's the same issue in Mombasa.
Have you had this conversation with the Assembly? Because city bylaws are there to help you, Governor.
No. This one needs national legislation because to implement it, you need national police, not Kanjo officers.
Senator Kisanga had asked about the smart meters.
We can explain the process we are at in getting into smart meters. Maybe you can give an overview.
Thank you so much. On the smart meters, Mheshimiwa, a mechanical meter, or the meters we use today, they have inch meters most of the customers use, who are around 96% of our customers. A smart mechanical meter will cost 3,500 shillings. a smart meter of the same size will cost you around 15 to 20,000 shillings. Now, when you look at what you are going to accrue by changing the meters from mechanical to smart meters, it will take you 20 or 30 years to recover the value. Water is a cheap commodity. The accuracy of a mechanical meter is between 3 to 5%. Accuracy of an electronic meter, I'm not talking about even a mechanical meter changed into a smart meter. I'm talking about a meter, an example of ultrasonic, where you are getting the signal direct being electric. So the errors are very low. That is 0.5 to 1%. Now, when you subtract those errors, that's what the value of the what the customer is billed. The difference between the two errors is what becomes the value you are going to accrue by changing the meters to smart meters. When you do the mathematics, you'll actually be creating jobs in a certain country and denying Kenyans jobs here. So it is not my advice to the country to move to smart meters as we talk today. Okay.
Chair. You see, when you say 15,000 accounts, they look small in number comparatively because of the fact that the governor would look at it like, okay, we have tried to estimate 112,000. But you see, this query is a P&L query. It's a query on revenue lost entirely if you go through it until 1.3. And my concern, Governor, and I still go back to it, and it's in good faith, because the documentation here is to help us when we are sitting now to address the queries. I think you address the queries to the auditors, and then we solve the queries. When we sit to solve the queries, is we at the end of the day go to the written responses. You see everything that we are saying there, Governor. Your response to that 1.1 is just one statement. There is no access. But then what the MD is responding to is more comprehensive than what is written here. You see my concern? Because at the end of the day, how you will solve for this issue is pegged on how comprehensive you capture the challenges that you're facing, and then after capturing the challenges that you're facing, highlight some of even the remedies that could be put in place. Because just to say that, because what I'm going with after listening, Chair, is that one, there is no access, and therefore whether there is because of the dogs or the gates are closed, that is fine. But then the substantive response to it is sensitization to the customers. We will do some form of sensitizing the customers, and then hopefully this will work. The reason why that's problematic is because there's two parts to that query. There is those that add some form of access. That is about 97,300. And then there is those that you have consecutively not been able to access the 15,000 in question. The total of them brings you a revenue problem of over 700 million shillings. That's what should ring the bell. That it's not about the 15,000, it's about, or the 112,000, it's about the revenue that's going to be lost as a result of not being able to access them. So I appreciate your response now, which I don't really appreciate in your one statement response to the committee. Chair, I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying. The response here is not comprehensive enough to solve this problem. What you are saying is in fact, I'm now empathetic. But surely, even when Senator Sifuna was asking you about the map, is a question to us going to address where these problems are. So I wish that you could go and become more comprehensive with that answer in your written submission. Because otherwise there's no strategy to address this query at all. And maybe the auditor will be satisfied with the approach of having a comprehensive response to these questions.
Chair, you know, everything we have said is about accessing the meter. If the response is to give wider context, Chair, you'll never respond to all these queries because you'll write paragraphs. Now I start describing dogs and start describing house girls being told not to open gates. The question is, why did you estimate? The answer is there was no access. And this is what we're doing to solve that issue, including relocation of these meters. Now, the reason we come here is to then give further context to the response to our queries. I think that's the reason we have in this session. And it's still part of the process, Chair. So that is our response.
Chair.
The big question, Chair, sorry.
Let me ask Mark to weigh in, and then honourable members, because of time, let's move to 1.2, the next one.
Thank you, Chair. From the context of the audit, or when we're carrying out our audit, what would have expected for this query to be explained to clearly was, would have expected a report, because we'd expect that the meter readers write reports to the supervisors to the next level. Until then, we'd see a report indicating these premises will not be accessed because of this issue, and then we'd have expected to see what then that supervisor did towards gaining access. Under the Water Act, we also have the Water Police. Has this been reported to Water Police that we need to access meters for reading? So that then would have formed documentary evidence for us then to be satisfied and to inform this committee that that issue has been adequately addressed. So, Chair, in the absence of that, then we still hold that the matter is still not addressed. Thank you, Chair.
Those are available. I don't think at any point it was asked for.
Yeah.
If you look at the structure, the meter reader is accountable to a supervisor. Goes all the way to the regional manager. Those daily incident reports are available, and we'll be very happy to give them to you.
Chair, just the big question is, why are they being still provided with water? Kwani wanapewa maji mpaka sai?
There are many areas where if you intervene, you will affect those who are properly served, as opposed to these ones who are estimating. And by the way, the issue of estimates vis-a-vis receipts, they are paying. You know, the query is not that these ones who are estimating are not paying, but they're paying based on the estimate, you know. Of course, it will be more efficient if it was, specific, as we have said, which is why I'm saying we need to explore how you help us ensure that Nairobians know it's a crime to deny access to the water meter reader and to the power, electricity, or any other public officer, executing his mandate. So we can give the incident reports, the daily logs. I don't know if were they asked for.
No, they were not asked.
You see, Chair, it is for the entity. Once a query has been asked, like that progress report of the number of meters that you've been able to move, what you've done, that would satisfy the auditor, governor, as to what you are doing as an entity. And then you say, progressively engineer that in the next 5 years or so, we will have phased out this issue of estimating meters. And I've never had anyone in this day and age running away from technology that will help you to be able to resolve your problem. So I was a bit shocked, Governor, that it is the thinking of the Nairobi County government that technology is bad. That you would not advise people to adopt technology. We are doing smart meters in electricity, Governor.
That is what your view is. That's not the position. He has explained the cost vis-a-vis the return on the accuracy of a smart meter and what do you call this? And the mechanical meter. That's just what he said, Chair, can I answer number 1.2?
Yeah, you can proceed to 1.2, but I just wanted to say, Makilaki is telling me that on page 5 of the report, there is a query on material uncertainty.
Which report?
In the audit report. Material uncertainty in relation to going concern.
Which query is that?
Page 5, query number 8. Now, what I wanted to say is that all these issues about losses, they all build up towards that one, because they make now the company be unsustainable. Yeah, because we have that one, If you look at long outstanding trade receivables, 4 billion. So all that will build towards that main query on going concern of the company. So I think it's in the interest to try and find out a solution to this problem. And I think one of the solutions is legislation.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was a bill called the Critical Infrastructure Bill, which was supposed to address such things.
Sure. Yes.
So I think maybe from our end we can try and fast track the legal aspects. But Engineer Muguna, you can't run away from technology. Technology will be expensive initially, but it will help you save a lot as you go on.
But Chair, you don't just adopt technology for the sake of it.
Yeah.
It must give a benefit. That's why you create it. Now, if the cost of it is actually, as you're saying, going concern, is not commensurate. Before you do any new, engagement, you do a viability, you do a feasibility study. You have to look at, what value is it adding to your customer, not for the sake of it. Otherwise, that will be the second query. That's what you'll be asking us next time. So sometimes it sounds very exciting. But and I'll give you an example. We did a whole study with Sureka about not Sureka. There was a big study on solar streetlights. And Chair, these are experts globally who have shown us that we're at the point of technology we have today, because it's 1,000 LCL solarize the whole of the city. In 3 years, most of those lights are lighting from 6 to 9 p.m. and going off. And you have to replace. It sounds nice to say let's run towards this technology, but you have to be prudent in understanding what are the real facts, what is the cost, how do you install it, what benefit are we getting. So, yes, we believe in technology. Chair, that is how we've raised the highest revenue of Nairobi Water. He's told you about the GIS. I have a dashboard. I can tell what everyone is paying every day from across the city, But before I got into office, they had only hit 8.9 billion. First year we did 10.5. This last year you've done what, 12.13? 11.8 billion. It's going up, and that is our intention. But it can only go up when you're prudent in the decisions you make. You don't just do it for the whims that it sounds nice to do 1, 2, 3. Those are management decisions, Chair.
Okay, let's make progress.
So 1.2.
1.1, you can read them simultaneous. 1.2, 1.3.
Now, as a country, we don't manufacture any meters, either mechanical or electrical or electronic or smart meters. If a country like UK, London uses mechanical meters, the meters are manufactured in UK and most of those European countries.
Maybe
you go to Amsterdam.
Let the governor read the response and then you can.
No, it's about the.
It's just adding context to the issue of smart meters. He's saying
if you go to Amsterdam, which I know many of us go.
Avoid that, yeah. Please just speak for yourself, engineer. Speak for yourself.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you. If you go where you are seated, I believe everybody has a smart meter here. If you Google, you will find a smart phone. You will find Thames Water in London uses mechanical meters. You will find Waternet of Netherlands uses mechanical meters. And you will find many of those countries, they actually even started metering water 2012, not even...
Okay, so now that you have Googled, how many workers in those water companies have been set upon by dogs because somebody refused to open a gate in London? How does it happen there in Amsterdam?
Now, it doesn't happen in those countries because...
Yeah, so please compare apples to apples. The situation in London is totally different from our situation here.
The countries manufacturing the smart meters are not using them. That's the point the media has made. They're manufacturing for people who would be excited by the word smart meter, but they are not implementing it. Chair 1.2.
Chair, I know we want to move to 1.2, but I always wear the blue hat in this committee, Governor. At the end of the day, this exercise must end on a resolved query. Are we getting it, Chair? it must enter a resolve query. So, Chair, I wanted a direction on how does the governor approach query number one in terms of documentary evidence that is supposed to be given to the auditor within watch time, because while we might over-focus on the issue of access, we have also had, and that's why you have got EACC there, we've also had dubious means where corrupt meter readers are also there. That will also be another issue. So in the absence of that documentary evidence, you take the verbal statement of the governor's officers as law, which is not necessarily always the truth. I'm not imputing any improper motive on the.
Is the issue of the corrupt water meters in the audit?
It is
or
not,
an allegation,
but
or
it can also be a potential reason for the lack of access.
Okay,
okay.
Honorable
So
members.
if there's no direction on the evidence, documentary evidence, as a direction, Chair, then this is in futility.
Okay, I think the governor mentioned that there are incident reports.
Incident reports in the logs.
So maybe we can ask the auditor. Auditor, you can try and sample out the incident reports for these accounts.
We would want them to come physically.
Yes.
You can imagine how many there are.
There are many.
It's very, very bulky.
So I think that's very important. Number two, we have directed that maybe the issue of legislation be looked at. Yeah. But this query remains unresolved because the auditor will continue raising it. So long as the estimated accounts are still there, I'm sure the auditor will continue raising it until the query is fully.
I think it would have been useful also to show cumulatively over the past few years, is this number going up or down? Because there's been tremendous progress. So this 15,000, which is 6%, is actually a great reduction.
So let me direct like this. The auditor, you will look at the incident reports. You look at, you analyze the trend from the other years to present and provide those reports to us maybe in the next 30 days.
Chair, they should not forget the update on the meters from the 15,000, what they have done so far, the ones that have been relocated and so on and so forth, and then they can give a time estimate on when they think all those 15,000 will be done.
Yeah, that's another, but that now will be a response from the county government. I see EACC, you are trying to raise your hand.
Chair, I think for me it's just to find out in terms of prevention, because I see they mentioned the issue of self-reading, where they are sensitizing the customer to do the self-reading, which we are aware even KPLC has taken something similar. And I just wanted to find out maybe how it's done and the progress in terms of the uptake from the customers. Thank you. The other issue could be the issue. Yes, the second issue is the aspect of the estimate, whether the estimate is usually lower, or how do you ensure that the estimate is maybe higher than the actual reading, just trying to make sure it's higher, it's punitive, so that these customers can maybe come to the office to complain or something.
No,
thank you so much.
You can proceed.
The chair.
The second bit may be one of the solution.
Uptake of self-meter reading. People are taking it up, particularly those who have gate locked or those who live in the informal settlements, where it's a bit difficult for us to assess the meters. So people are taking it up, and we also go to verify. Once you send your reading, we also, after 1 or 2 months, we go and verify. On the issue of estimates, we use 3 months actual estimate, actual readings, which were done in that account before, to make our estimates. And just like what His Excellency said, these estimated accounts, because I had also a member saying it's a loss of revenue. When you estimate, actually some of them pay based on those estimates. So we estimate and get also revenue out of it. Thank you.
His concern was through the chair that if the estimates you do it higher so that they feel the pinch of paying more than when they open and then you read the meters. So have you considered making it higher?
Thank you so much. That's a new area we are going to explore of overestimating so that somebody can show up. Yes. Thank you.
I think let's proceed to 1.2 and 1.3 at the same time.
Chair, just on that, any action taken by government must seem fair. Unless it's a penalty that is passed as a law, overestimating, if any person takes you to court, it will be very difficult to explain why you've done an additional charge as opposed to what this person has been paying, unless it's an actual penalty. So we can actually pass a penalty in the county government that then will serve the same purpose, but legally and for fair administrative action, you need to be able to explain how have you come up with this, and our 3 months, weighted average is something that is objective, and that anybody can say, okay, this is what has gone into it. Chair, on 1.2, the disconnection module of the billing system was not operational to enable tracking of disconnected accounts. The module was operationalized in the subsequent, in financial year 2024-2025. This will improve the disconnection of unpaid bill monitoring of disconnected accounts. Water service providers, for instance, and this is just an example, in Kiambu County, was not disconnected. We give them water, and we communicated non-payment of the water service provider bills to WASREP, which is the regulatory authority, to assist in collection of the same. And we've attached the letter to WASREP with the outstanding bills from other water service providers. We also seeded domestic accounts in Gudrai and Kaosukari to Kiambu County. These accounts were partly billed during the financial year. This also goes hand in hand, let me just give a comment, to government entities that are not paying. Yeah, we owed a total of 1.4 billion. If you look at it, Ministry of Defense alone owes us 121 million shillings. The police, 112 million shillings. Sports and culture, 22 million shillings, and so on and so forth. I can give you that detail. The water service providers for Kiambu is what I've listed there. That comes to 449 million shillings. Public schools, 168 million shillings, or to Nairobi Water. Transport Ministry, etc. Correctional, the jails, or 81 million shillings. And so that's also another area that we would want to work together with you to resolve. On 1.3, the list of 10,191 accounts queried by the Auditor General included 7,031 accounts that had already been de-enrolled or discontinued. The account status is B, and they are not active. In the same list, 465 accounts were in the application stage, that is status A, meaning they were in the process of being contracted. A total of 2,695 accounts had the status of current and were therefore active. So those are the ones which you can focus on. Analysis of these 2,695 accounts revealed the following. 1,149 accounts had their meters installed in the subsequent financial year. So, of course, they don't make it into the previous year statements. 683 accounts did not have meters installed by the time of analysis. The analysis was done in February of 2025. 863 accounts could not be billed due to various system technical controls, such as pending special work orders, which are only billed once the work order is resolved. So as of February 2025, this year, 1938 of the 2695 active accounts had been billed. I'll allow the MD or anyone else to give further context.
MD.
Thank you so much. On 1.2, just like His Excellency has said, some of these accounts which are not which are billed but not paying. We have an example of 246 or 245 accounts of public primary schools, which even disconnect. Actually, Senator Sifuna Mheshimiwa, he will be the first one to learn to me saying that school must be reconnected. And all politicians in Nairobi, once they disconnect the primary schools, that's the first. They learn to my office first. And they actually show clearly that the capitation they are receiving is not enough to pay for water. They are given, understand, 9 shillings to pay for water per student. So when you look at the volume of water the student uses in those primary schools, you cannot, unless you are unless us as a company, we now take over the, being very humane to the schools. The second one, many of the government institutions are not paying. The military has not paid since October last year, as an example. Before that, still they were not paying. If you try to disconnect, you cannot disconnect. The meters are guarded by, okay, you understand what I mean? Okay? You can go to Moya base, you cannot be able to disconnect. Now, I don't know how you, okay? No, how do I name the government and I'm also part of the government? It becomes very ironical. Actually, that's why we don't like some of these things in these reports. Okay. So when you come to number 13, also you'll find there are some areas in 1-2 informal settlement areas. It's a cat and mouse game. You disconnect, they reconnect. If you disconnect, actually they go to the main line. They puncture the main line, they take the water without metering. So sometimes in some of the informal settlements, sorry to say this, we actually encourage them water to pass through the meter. I don't disconnect so that I can account for the water. Otherwise, what we would want to ask this assembly, the committee here to assist, is using the money you provide for the whole people, the social money the government provides, and the equitable money. The government should be paying for water in the informal settlement. It's a better endeavor than giving people money there. Then they take alcohol, they kill themselves. So pay for water, you'll avoid people killing themselves with alcohol. You'll avoid waterborne diseases in the informal settlements. So the government should, instead of giving them cash, pay for water. We give them water, and many countries and many cities do that. Okay, so please assist us in that area. So some of these accounts you see, lend, not paying, there are many in the informal settlements. We actually encourage them to take the water through the meter. Okay. Number 13, just the way the report is written, we have actually accounted for the meters which were said to be active but non-billed. As of now, it's just 600 which we are contracting, or there are some technical issues which may not allow us to have connected them. So that one has been resolved. We have done the attachment to show the actions which have been taken.
Auditor, what is your comment?
Thank you, Chair. For paragraph 1.2, that was the position as at 30th June. However, we do not know the current status of the bills, whether some have been paid for or not. So we would have appreciated to receive the status of these bills, how much has been paid and how much are still not paid for. Again, on paragraph 1.3, we received a printout of several accounts. Our data was based on the period July to 30th June. But now we don't know what period this data relates to. So for us to be able to confirm this, and that's why we have said it's partially addressed, we need to access the system and go through it to see whether the data relates to that particular period. And report in the 2024-2025 financial report. Thank you.
Just a clarification, auditor. When you, as an auditor, says an account is active, what does that mean?
When we say an account is active, we mean that the account has been metered and somebody has been assigned to it for water consumption.
So, Chair, when the governor says of the 10,191 accounts queried by the governor, by the Auditor General, 7,000 of those accounts had already been de-enrolled. Governor, how can the auditor see an account being active for a whole 12 months, but according to you, that account is de-enrolled, whatever that means? How long does it take for you to, I don't know, to de-enroll an account?
Through the chair. In this report, we have indicated very well that in our system, the account is marked D, implying the account is in discontinued. But
so where is the auditor getting A? Where is he getting active?
Now, that's what you should tell us. Because if the account status is D, that's what it means. Possibly, I don't know whether the team did not explain that to you, or...
Did you have access to the system?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, that time we had access to the system. And if for example, I refer you to the document that is provided here.
Yes.
You realize that whatever is being called disconnected, we have there are some accounts with meter numbers. There are others that do not have meter numbers, yet they relate to periods dating back to 2020, 2021. So we could not necessarily rely on this particular document that is here. But when the analysis was being done, it was being done through the system, in the whatever data that was in the system. And that's why I was saying, Honorable Chair, that we can only be able to go through the SQL once we access the same system, so that we are able to compare the data, what was there and what is currently there. But that is the outcome that was of the analysis. The outcome of the analysis that was carried out.
But does the explanation make sense? Because the system is available for you to access.
Honorable Chair, yes, it makes sense, but subject to confirmation in the system.
Chair, I'm just wondering, Auditor, the questions the Governor, the FD are asking you, did you have a sitting, an exit report where maybe those issues could have been addressed between you and the water company? Because it seems it's like you never engaged.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, we had a sitting, and after the sitting, a management letter was issued. After the management letter, a second letter was issued. We called it draft audit report, and then the audit report. So, if there was anything to clear the issues, then it should have been provided during that meeting, or even during this time.
Chair, I think there's a confusion here that will answer Senator Sifuna's question. The document you're referring to right now, was this document given before the raising of the certificate or after?
Thank you, Chair. This is after.
After.
Yes. When they are
So
providing the response.
the audit query is based on the documents that were given in the audit process. Do we have those documents? And at that time, were these 7,031 accounts reading A or D? That's what the Senator Stifuna is asking. Because these are documents that must then be further examined by the auditor. Because the certificate has been raised, and we have said a number of times that once a certificate has been raised, And at that time, were these 7,031 accounts active? That's the question.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, whatever is contained in the report is what came out from the analysis that was done on the system. So whatever is being provided here, I think I've even seen the responses. I think is an analysis done in February 2025, way after the conclusion of the audit report.
Okay. Chair, well, just one final clarification, because on this 1.2, there are these 23,000 accounts that were billed a total of 344 million, but the payment was not made. I have had an attempt by Engineer Muguna to hide behind school children. Has he provided you with a breakdown of these 23,384 accounts? Because the schools cannot be more than 200. And the security installations, as he's talking about, I don't think they are more than 15 or 20. So do you have a breakdown of these accounts? And auditor, is it not possible for you, if there is controversy as to whether an account is active or not, can't you sample just one of those accounts or 5 of them and visit the place physically? Are you allowed to do that?
Yes. Yeah, it is possible. Thank you. It is possible for us to do that.
Because that's how you catch a liar. If they are saying that this account is discontinued and you suspect it is not, just pick 5 of those premises, that preferably the ones that don't have dogs, and then you pay a visit there. But do you have a breakdown of this 23,384 in query number 1.2?
And auditor, I also wanted, not auditor, governor. I've seen there is 3 WSPs for Kiambu County who drew water worth 547 million, which they have not paid. So I just wanted to know whether there is any agreement with these WSPs and whether you supply bulk water or it's metered water.
There are 3 of them: Karuri, Kiambu, Karuri Water and Sanitation, then there's Kiambu Water and Sewerage,
and Githunguri.
And then Githunguri. And of course, you know, our coordination is through the regulatory authority, that is WASREB. And we've attached correspondence between us and WASREB, but maybe the MD can give the details of that arrangement with them.
Yeah, MD, please.
Thank you so much, through the chair. Yes, these are county water service providers. We give them water through Mbauki meters. They sell or distribute, then they pay to us, but they rarely pay. And
so do you have an agreement
for them not to pay?
No, you have a signed agreement with them.
The accounts were open. The accounts were open many years back. I don't have a specific agreement at the moment, but these accounts were Kiambu Water has been existing since water started coming, since like, I think 1970, 73, when the first water started flowing to Nairobi through Kiambu. And when the system was being done, there was a provision to ensure Kiambu town gets water from the line bringing water to Nairobi. There was also a provision for Katundu to get water when the pipes are bringing water to Nairobi. And the accounts were opened those years under the defunct State Council of Nairobi.
So there is no agreement at all with them?
The connection is here of opening the document, opening the accounts themselves. It's an agreement.
Jay, do you have an agreement with the water you get at home? You're a customer. You're billed.
No, I'm imagining if it is, you know, the Water Act has that arrangement where you can supply bulk water as a WSP to another WSP.
Yeah.
Or you supply as a bulk water provider. So in that arrangement, there is a provision for an agreement.
Yeah. You see, the Water Act came way after we have been already supplying these places. Because the Gatundu example, that is from Ngedu in the 1974 Ngedu. But I mean, if it's for good order, it would be nice for us to create new agreements. We would do that. But we've seen no need for it so far. Yeah. And actually, the Water Act, Chair, I wish we could get time to interact with yourself or maybe the relevant committee. There are a lot of provisions that are unconstitutional with respect to the devolved function of water. And some of those, in fact, speak to the second query. When you look at even how the tariffs are set, like WASREB wants us to pay them 1.7 billion and to charge 4%. It cannot, it takes away the authority of the devolved entity in playing their mandate in the law. And remember that Water Act, I think it has been a bit controversial. So I think at the COG, the relevant committee is trying to engage, but I'll follow that up because we're really victims of all of that, Chair.
So I think you asked us, what can we do for you as a Senate? I think this is one matter that they clerk, because it is a communication that was sent to WASREB, and the amount involved is huge, 547 million. So I think we can intervene as a committee on this.
Yes, thank you.
We do a communication to WASREB on this matter. Clerk.
Chair.
Yes.
My question was regarding the deactivation that was done. So I'm just wondering whether it was done after the audit process. And I also feel that CEO, many explanations should have been done to the auditors before, or, instead of, being done during this process, So I feel, there are many other things that we have even tackled before. We didn't have to tackle them here. But then just the deactivation, I was just wondering whether it was done after the audit process.
How is deactivation done? Deactivation is done this way. Take an example of you have apartments and you have realized that your tenants are not paying for water. So you amalgamate your accounts to one account. So you are left with one active account. The other accounts are enrolled. So that now you start charging your customers direct, then you pay the water company for that water. This is something which has been happening all along, not 2023-24 financial year now. It has been happening in the past. So the system has this. That's why we have written this course, which tells you active account D and the enrolled account this.
I think this query just relates to the communication at that time and not understanding what these things mean between ourselves, if you ask me. And again, the system is available for that checking to be done, Chair. Because 7,000 is compared to 10,000 is a very big number. And then also those in application stage. The smaller 465, but still it's that understanding. And I would want to know which officers were engaging at that point would have avoided this. And I think the management response should have had this as well. How it stayed to the final, I don't understand. Because at that stage, access to the system was still available to the auditors. They could have accessed and confirmed, yes, we can see this is D. And in fact, this D has been amalgamated to create this new account. And it's happening a lot with a lot of the apartments and such places. So, Chair, I think this is one of those that remained unnecessarily. This should have been, it's very straightforward, Chair, if you ask me.
Maybe, Mark, I can hear from you, because I think that means during the audit process. I think a lot more communication needs to happen so that you pick all the necessary information you require.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think the audit process enumerated under the Public Audit Act provides the client the opportunity to respond to any queries that are raised. During the audit, we are raising these queries with expecting responses. And after the audit, we also have the exit meeting, where during the meeting we are discussing the issues that are likely to appear. And if those are responded to then the chair, those issues are considered addressed. We then do a management letter. Now this is in writing, where we say these are the issues that we have raised, please respond. And where the response is not given, chair, that issue then goes finally to the draft report. The draft report basically shows these are the issues that are going to appear in your report. Do you have any other, do you have any supporting documents perhaps to address these issues? And it's at that point then that the report appears in the certificate of the Auditor General. So Chair, there is adequate opportunity to respond, and where that response is not given, that's when it appears in the audit report. Thank you, Chair.
Maybe the finance director can confirm and clarify on this specific response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The finance director, the CEC water, you must be well acquainted with the PFM. I think section, is it 184? Legal. That requires continuous monitoring of financial performance of entities below you, and particularly the audit queries and the audit process. Proceed.
Thank you, Chairman. We did provide our response to the queries in the management letter and the draft audit report. The 10,191 accounts that are mentioned in the report, what we've printed and attached there, it is the same 10,000 relating to the same period, 2023-2024. So even what appears there as account status is for the period 2023-2024. This is something that the auditors can confirm should they access the system again, and it's still intact. Thank you.
So it seems that you're going to have a back and forth again on this matter. So I think we can just say that this query has to be looked at in detail between yourselves and the auditor, so that in the next financial year we get better communication on some of these things. So let's move to...
Yeah. What was the revenue loss as a result of this? Because this query, as we said, it impacts material uncertainty. And I think that we are handling it casually. Because that substantive difference between the auditor and the county, I think it's not a light one, because when you look at it in terms of the accounts, that is 7,000 accounts that are in dispute. In fact, there are 7,000 accounts because the governor is saying there was 2,695 that were those are the only ones that were active. So that means that the bulk of what the auditor has captured here as active accounts that were not billed, is there an estimation of what that could have led in terms of revenue loss? Because it will inform how we handle this issue when you get to material uncertainty, because there are two approaches. One is go with the auditor's take, which is those 7,031 accounts that are in dispute were actually just not billed and they were active, in which case there will be revenue loss that must be accounted for. Or go with the story of the governor that these 731 accounts have been disconnected, which then will bring us into the question of how do we try and fill the gap for this in terms of revenue loss, which is justified, to get new accounts that then can be able to answer the question of cash flow. I don't know whether you're seeing my sense, because it directly impacts the query on material uncertainty, and we have to go with one story, Chair. We have to go with either the story of the auditor or the story of the governor on this particular query 1.3. Otherwise, then we will glaze over the material uncertainty. It's a P&L question. That then we will be tied again to what you'll see about 8 billion on non-revenue water.
The response done to the auditor was clear that from the list of 10,192 stated, 7,010 discontinued and enrolled, hence will not be billed. And we gave that same explanation even then. Why it carried on, I can't understand, because we gave that explanation and the system was available, you know, to be accessed. I think the direction you give on now moving from now, that they can come and look at it again, you know, is good, because the steps that the auditor has read are steps known to all of us. But how a query remains there when you've explained and you've shown and you're available to give the data it completely beats me. I don't understand why. I don't understand. Because that's the response I've read out that was given. You know, at the point of receiving that response, they could have said, no, we want to come and look at the system. Just to resolve it, because that is the essence of an audit, isn't it? And that's the stage it should have been done, Chair.
Chair, perhaps as the auditor is going to come into this, because there are two issues here we're going to look at: the issue of material uncertainty and the issue of non-revenue water, which is at 51%. And if you look at that in terms of absolute value, it's over 8 billion. That's not small amount of money. Auditor, were the 10,192 accounts, did they receive water? Let's walk a step back. Because they could be active, but they're not receiving water. For instance, when you say when the governor attempted here to say that these 731 were discontinued, basically it means that they did not receive water. In your view, did all of them receive water?
Thank you, Chair. Our expectation is that because they were active, they were receiving water.
So you see the stalemate, Governor?
No, but we said they're not active. You see, if it's not active, it's not active.
I think the way forward, honourable members.
Yes, the D, the system says it's D, we printed out it's D, we answered and explained to you. Now, if you insist it's active, does it become active?
That's why we were saying you sample them. Just sample the accounts.
So, auditor, what you can do, sample of a few accounts and go and recheck and come back to us in 14 days. 14 days, to be fair to them.
But even as we do that, you know, as a Senate committee, you know, and you're doing oversight, maybe you should give us clarity or direction on what happens on something that is materially should not be in a report. That information has been provided, an answer has been given, because you're also oversighting the Auditor General, you know, that this audit query should not have appeared completely. So what happens when the auditor ignores information that is given on a specific query? What happens?
Thank you,
because also the auditor can be wrong. You remember there's a time we came for an audit. I don't know what matter it was. It was SG. The issue of tankers. Tankers. And they said they almost made it look like we have how many? 2.4 billion. You remember that issue, and it was a material mistake by the auditor, but nothing happens. So it will be good for, as we move forward, for also everyone to know they have a responsibility, you know, to follow those steps.
Because I am also audited, and we go through this every single year. I remember there was a time when the auditor was insisting that we should not disclose in our books how much money we expect from government under the law, because they're saying we are over budgeting and the revenues are not matching the budget. But when you sit with the officers from the Auditor General and you exchange correspondence, you will tell them you object to this being like this or stated like this, and then they will say, no, this is the reason why we're doing. You go through that process with them during the audit process, and you keep record. Because these matters cannot emerge. Of course, they can make mistakes.
That's why
but it is the responsibility of the entity that is being audited you can demonstrate that you've provided documents. You can demonstrate that you disagree with the auditor's view by the correspondence that you exchanged during the audit process.
That's why I've shown you the letter we wrote on that issue.
That's what I'm saying. So beyond that, really, I don't know what your expectation would be, Governor.
No, the committee should have a provision, as you give your report, also to sanction the auditor. Yes.
Chair, Honorable Chair.
Yes, I mean, I think we did that. When we did the Public Audit Act, I was in Parliament. And the question that has always been there of who audits the auditor, came up. Of course, the National Assembly gets an entity because everybody must have a responsibility, These days, you find a sensational headline, either from the Control of Budget or the Auditor General. Then when you look at the crux of the matter, we're just eroding all public trust in institutions, So I was just saying it as a, by the way, it's not a material thing. But when we've given an answer, in all honesty, you have access to the system, yet you don't do your part, something needs to be done as well, Chair.
Fair enough. So I think the auditors, I give you the 14 days, go and re-verify the information and come back to us on that query. But I'll give you an opportunity to say something. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. What I want to mention is that sometimes you can include a report in the management letter and then the client responds without giving any support to that. Now, in the case that we have here, you will find that the data that we have been provided, we have received some analysis on the same, which has been done from the response in February 2025. So if this analysis had actually been done then it would have been provided then, and the auditor would have reconfirmed. So I doubt that this information was provided then. The figures could have been provided, yes, but the data to support those figures may not have been provided.
I've directed that you go and reconfirm and come back to us in 14 days. Yeah. So let's proceed to query on long outstanding trade and other payable. This is almost similar to that, to what we have covered, but it is about people who have not paid 4.1 billion. Auditor?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Long outstanding trade and other payables. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in Note 29 to the financial statements, reflects trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 5,344,030,050. However, included in the balance are trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 4,144,716,223, which had been outstanding for more than 180 days. In the circumstances, the accuracy, validity, completeness of
More Radio 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More Radio 88.2 FM.